Hey everyone, my name is Ray and I'm out here at Guadalupe River State Park where I'm going to try to splice these videos together. For some reason I couldn't zoom back out after zooming in to show you the geese or ducks that were hanging out by the edge of the river. So today I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'm going to be hanging out by the edge of the river. The water is high right now. It's been raining quite a bit, and I wanted to resume a journey that I started some time ago and then kind of postponed to address other people. And in the meanwhile, I kind of overlooked some of my own objectives, which were that health is wealth. And the first thing that I think that it comes down to when it comes to restoring our health is taking control of something that in a way has taken control of us in the meantime. So what do I mean by that? Food. Food is something. I brought some with me, as you can see, some raspberries. Food is something that some of us can overlook in terms of habitual use. And what I mean by that is that many of us are eating foods kind of at an addiction level. And that's not really something that we can see until we try to see how long we can go without these activities. So, what do you mean by that, Ray? What I mean is, today, it's coming up on noon right now. Check this out. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's a little tiny butterfly. It's coming up on noon right now. And I haven't had any meals. And in fact, these blueberries are going to be my first meal. I mean, these raspberries. I'm showing you the discarded remnants that kind of help showcase what I mean when I'm talking about addiction level habits. If we're going to be wasteful and discard things on the side of wherever we're consuming them, isn't that the same as discarding dirty needles or throwing beer cans out of the car so you don't have anything in your car when you get pulled over? These are just thoughts. You know, I know that I'm making quite a leap by suggesting that some of these things we're doing are addiction level actions. And at the same time, I know I'm not entirely wrong. So just because you're right doesn't mean I'm wrong. In this particular case today by the river, look at these trees. It's magnificent out here. And again, the main reason that I was telling you that it's coming up on noon is so that I could let you know that I've gone well over half a day without eating anything. This is sometimes what's known as intermittent fasting. And it's good for you to practice these things because then you don't have as much of a likelihood of developing insulin resistance. Early onset insulin resistance, early onset diabetes, early onset poor circulation, all of these things can be symptoms of eating too much, eating the wrong things, eating at the wrong time, of basic food addiction. So I'm telling you that I'm coming up on noon and I'm able to enjoy these raspberries that I brought with me right by the river. and that'll be my first meal, that's how I'm going to break my fast. If you're waking up a lot at night, having to urinate, those are symptoms of possible early warning signs of insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is something that helps us to retain weight, and some people talk about eating fruit and saying that it causes unusual bowel movements, and that the side effects of eating fruit are something that they don't want to experience, when in fact, think about it, a lot of people are retaining weight, which is not just stored awesomeness. Sometimes it's water weight, a lot of different things that we can store in ourselves accumulate and add up to that weight. So what I'm doing as I'm revisiting this segment about restoring my health and focusing on my own health, I've turned off my phone. I've put it into airplane mode and do not disturb, and I really don't want to receive any kind of calls while I'm doing my thing out here, so I'm focusing on the one aspect of what I'm doing. When I find an ideal place and I see a bench in front of me, so I'm going to go and sit on it to enjoy my breakfast, basically that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come out here, sit here, enjoy my meal, and focus on the time at hand, which is basically what most of us should be doing while we're doing whatever it is we're doing. If you're watching this video and you're multitasking, you're doing something else, I ask you to go back and watch another video, maybe a song that I've written or something, but don't multitask. Take it as if you're consuming that particular content specifically, and that there's nothing else that you want to focus on except for what it is that's being said to you by this crazy person who's telling you about wildlife and conservation and wellness and health all the time. And consider that I'm not necessarily getting paid to do these things that I focus on, and that I'm trying to convert our different opportunities into some kind of an option that allows us to receive pay for the good things that we do. And to do that, I'm showcasing a lot of examples. You've seen me pick up trash off the trails. You've seen me talk about not bringing plastic containers into some place, using reusable items. That way we don't have so many things to dispose of errantly, like that Coke can that we saw earlier on the trail. And basically just enjoying our health and restoring ourselves to the youthfulness that we all have. Some of us who focus on food all the time might go on, let's just say for an example, a vacation, wake up, go to the free continental breakfast, which is probably, I don't know, a big percentage of it is sugar and processed foods, and never even think about the fruit that's in there. These raspberries, when I consume them, it's coming up on near lunchtime, and I'm going to consume them, and I'll be absolutely satiated by these raspberries until I have my next meal, whether that's lunch, or I should say dinner, or maybe not even until tomorrow. I really don't know. When I'm busy, I focus on the things I'm doing, and I don't focus on the foods that are typically what most of us are building our entire infrastructure around. In a lot of cases, some of us wake up thinking, what do we eat? And then we plan out immediately the next thing, where do we go to eat? And then we think about the evening, what are we going to eat? In order to focus on health, we need to not focus on the things that are taking us from that health. All of everything we do is a pacifier, is an entertainment level value, and man does not live on bread alone. There are so many things that drive us and our energy. Imagine something that makes you happy. Imagine the days when you used to wake up waiting for a gift on that holiday that happens every end of the year. Imagine those sleepless nights where you had energy and abundance when you were creating something or playing a game and you couldn't stop because you were having so much fun. This is the kind of youthfulness that I'm working on restoring in myself. And I've done it before, and I'm going to do it again. I'm doing it right now. Today's day 8, or actually yesterday was day 8 of me not having any meats. today's the 9th day, and I continue to go through this journey knowing that I had an addiction I reintroduced myself to an addiction to meats. My body craved it so much that by the 3rd day of not having meats, I got a pretty significant headache. And those type of things are side effects that one can experience when withdrawing from those things that they were addicted to, withdrawals. And it's not a mistake that I'm using those words. It's not a mistake that I've shown you some other individuals in their journey towards wellness in my family and the destruction that they've caused, which has definitely caused me challenges in my own life. And it's no accident that I'm telling you I'm also going to be discontinuing from these events and turning my phone off and not answering some of those questions. A lot of the work that's being presented to me is work that these people who are presenting to me can do themselves, and I can help. And also, I'm not getting paid for a lot of the things that I'm doing. So with all of that being said, if you're asking for me to complete work that you yourself can complete, I'm asking you to return the favor. Don't forget to pay me my due. And this message might not be for you specifically who are watching this. It might be for someone who watches it later. Might be for the cat down the road. Might be for someone you're sharing the video to. And on the flip side, it might actually be for you. Maybe you want to find a way to help contribute to me showcasing these segments of wellness and conservation. And what you're going to do is help springboard those opportunities so that I can present these things freely without having to generate more waste and more of a waistline. So what we're trying to generate is less waste, less of a waistline. And so I'm trying to show you there are some things that bring joy to me. There are some obstacles that I've encountered that I'm overcoming. And there are some obstacles faced by people who are in my segments who do not want to face their own work. And so that can bring me down. And as I said, I put a lot of my own work on hold for a period of time. That's no longer going to be the case. And I apologize for anyone who thinks that I'm just kind of unplugging and not helping out where I should be or could be helping out. And I'll go so far as to say those places that are taking it for granted that I should be working in those areas also need to consider that the people I work with would absolutely benefit if they were doing their own part to help out in these situations. So I'm going to have my raspberries right now. Today again is basically I've already bypassed my 3-day mark when I started to get headaches from not eating meat. The next thing I'm going to discontinue from is the stream of processed foods. And I'll showcase that segment as well to you so that you can understand what I'm talking about. The fact of the matter is that basically we can take and enjoy fresh food, fresh fruit. You know, we can enjoy berries, nuts, and vegetables, and all those things we can enjoy without having to add any kind of processed chemicals. There's a huge reduction in packaging, and the energy that comes from a lot of things that aren't touched by so many hands is completely different. It's more pure. So focus on pure energy, purity, and wellness and health is something that's always in our own hands, especially considering most of us are not being force-fed to eat certain things. Many of us are eating things that are maybe involved in a chain of command, so to speak. In other words, we typically might send out people to obtain certain foods for us, and that doesn't mean that we have to always continue to grab for the sugariest, most processed, most temporarily entertaining things that we can put in our mouth for the addiction level comfort of it. So take comfort in the fact that you don't always have to be eating. In fact, I one time went 13 days without eating any food, and that was a challenge. I also followed up by doing a 3-day fast where I didn't have any food, and I've even done a fast where I've had no water or food. All of those things are things that our bodies are designed to withstand, and of course I'm not a doctor, so you can speak with your own medical professional when you decide to make your own choices about what it is you're going to abstain from, or engage in and consume. But I also strongly recommend that you remember your lessons as a kid. Whatever's fun is going to occupy your time and your mind space. And so I strongly encourage that you do the things that are fun for you. For me, it's walking on these trails. For someone else, it might be restoring cars. It might be building guitars. It might be fixing up a home, arranging spaces, cultivating a garden. There are so many different things that can bring us joy that the primary obstacle is simply cutting through all the things that we have that aren't necessarily our own tasks and focusing on ourselves. So when it comes to bringing health back to ourselves, let me be the first person to remind you and to remember that the power is always within our own hands. Health is wealth. Thank you so much for watching these segments. Thank you for enjoying the journey with me. And for today's step 1, I strongly encourage anyone who's having trouble discontinuing the cycle of ill health or excessive weight to consider removing meat from your meal plan at least 3 days per week until you can do it for more than 3 days in a row. Once you start doing that, you'll see that food cravings and addictions can be just as commonplace among those who don't necessarily express any kind of addiction level symptoms initially. It's not until you take something out of the equation that you start finding, hey, I wonder if I was addicted to meat. I wonder if that's why I had such a major headache when I was doing without meat for X amount of time. I know I was. I know I've been challenged with sugary things in the past, but I absolutely am aware that meat and anything else that we have been introduced to eat regularly are things that were taught to us by our fathers and our mothers. And we may not learn anything new until someone else tells us something new. And if this is new for you, click on the thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, and otherwise look for content like this or like what makes you happy in order to meet your goals. Think about this too. For these 18 plus minutes that you've been watching this, you also have the opportunity to be fed with information, not just with the food that you might be snacking on as you're watching this video. If you're not watching the video and snacking or multitasking, my hat's off to you. If you're multitasking, again, I strongly encourage that you go back through the video archive and watch something without multitasking for once. And you can even see, as I was walking and paying attention to who's walking by so I don't capture any kind of errant sound in this video, and even while I was looking for wildlife as I'm watching, my focus is split. And so telling you what I'm telling you seems a little bit hesitant. You know, there are things that I might be looking to say, and also I was look at this trail. I'm not sure if you can see how steep that was. It's very slippery because it's been raining here quite a bit. And I didn't want to go sliding down the trail while I was waiting for the people to walk by. So basically, I'm being cautious. I'm telling you these things that I'm telling you. I'm doing it at a cadence that makes sense, that's available to me to present to you. And I hope that you're following along with this segment and returning the energy, the amazing energy that I'm sending to you. Please send it back by clicking on comment, click on the description, read some of what I've written if you want to, and click on the comment link and leave a comment. Tell me if you're improving in your journey right now. In fact, declare it. I am improving in my health and wellness journey right now. I'm looking for my counterparts who are helping me to achieve the same mission, and I'm doing my part. That's all we have to do is our own part and have fun. And imagine, we're all just children walking around in different sized and aged bodies with a different amount of capacity to either restore our health or to share that health that we have. Health is wealth, and when it's coming to us in abundance, we can share our efforts with one another in so many formats, whether it's working on something as a labor of love, or talking with someone, or it just goes on and on. Showing someone the wildlife and beauty that's around us. My particular favorite encounters are with wildlife. And so I'll continue to bring you into these places of nature and tell you, look, I'm walking around in a place where water has been abundant. I just broke an interesting little sweat. I don't know if you can see the glistening on my forehead. And I'm telling you that we saw one butterfly and a few geese, what looked like geese to me. And that's a lot less than I'm used to seeing during these summers in Texas, where you can walk by the river and hear all these cicadas. There should be a little bit more wildlife, and so I'm going to bring that to your attention as well, saying that I think we're coming up a little short, and we all might want to contribute to wellness and conservation in one way or another, whether that's monetarily or by chipping in and not buying anything that comes in ready-to-use, one-time, single-use plastic containers. I don't have any kind of animosity towards plastic. Plastic is amazing. It has so many different possibilities, and maybe we just need to stop producing it in one format and shift over to another format where people are able to use those bottles more than once and cans more than once, so they don't end up on our trails as rubbish that's just being thrown about like any kind of a junkie would do after they were done using their habit. So peace, love, and all that old school stuff. Thank you so much again for subscribing. I've seen that we're getting really close to 200 subscribers. I'll release a special video when that occurs to commemorate our 200th subscriber. And I'm looking forward to the next journey, the next segment of the journey. But I'm also looking forward to just enjoying the day, just like you're doing right now. So enjoy your time right now where you are. Stay focused, stay well. Health is wealth. And I love you. You know, I don't know how else to say it. If I didn't care, I wouldn't be sharing these things, and I wouldn't be trying to encourage us to take care of our health. I actually absolutely care about your health, or I wouldn't be saying this. There are some people who I know might stand to you to look at these things a lot sooner, who maybe can get over their own addictions. I myself am enjoying my life right now, and I'm just trying to set an example one way or the other, whether it resonates with you. If it doesn't, that's okay. It's going to resonate with the cat down the road, so to speak. And I want to also give a special thanks to this guy, Ralph Smart, who told me about the 7-day vegan challenge, how it could change my life. It did change my life. And I'm using that knowledge still to this day, years after the fact. And I strongly encourage anyone who's out there struggling with any kind of addiction to think about fasting on any level that you can think of. Whether it's not having meat on Friday, like some of the spiritual places would practice, or whether it's going without it for longer and also attributing it to the universe or whatever your higher power consciousness is in this world. You can call it whatever you want. We're all interconnected. We're all interwoven on this beautiful tapestry of life. And I believe that we're all part of the same energy, which is why I'm telling you, it doesn't really matter how you call one name or another. Let's just say we were brought up speaking different languages. Someone else might call the higher power something else. That's just the way it is. Peace is peace. Eating healthy is peaceful because it causes less damage to ourselves and to the people around us. And it allows us to help one another to love and enjoy time with one another, and to help other people learn. So when we're learning, we're earning automatically. Health is wealth. And I'll tell you again and again that when we have our minds made up and we cannot move any further, we might have aged as much as we think we can age because we're comfortable. And being comfortable and staying in one spot can wear a pretty good rut in the road where you might find yourself stuck. And you might need a push. And so if this is the push you need for me to say something about changing what it is that you've been doing daily. I hope that you consider this a gentle push, and that I also was trying not to slip at the same time in the mud that I'm pushing us out of. So as I move us forward to where we're getting traction together, let's help build that momentum, and let's help to encourage one another to avoid those pitfalls and rutted roads to begin with. Again, peace, love, and all that old school stuff. Thanks for watching.